This segment of Panther Sports Talk is brought to you by Lincoln Savings Bank. At home in Iowa, at work for you.
Welcome back to Panther Sports Talk here with UNI head football coach Mark Farley. Another year for the football program, another appearance in the FCS Playoffs. Let's recap that great season now. And you always start the year with a tough opponent, either at Iowa or Iowa State. Then you play another tough couple non-conference games. Then you get into the toughest conference in all of FCS. Talk about just kind of the progression of this team from day one camp to where you ended up, a big growth and evolution.
It wasn't a team that evolved. I mean, we all saw it come together. Early on, particularly the Iowa State game, we had no idea what we had, and more so what we had in coaching staff and player relationship, that communication factor. We found that out through the Iowa State game, and then as we progressed through the non-conference games of Southern Utah and Cal Poly, we started to put pieces together, but at that time we weren't playing as smoothly as we did later on. And then once we got to about mid-season, we really caught stride. I think the coaches found out what kind of talent we had and how to marry that with the plan. And I think the players became comfortable with the coaches of how to communicate and what to expect from a game plan as well. And then once everything got married, I think we really started to evolve very quickly and became a great football team.
Panthers are always tough here at home inside the dome, but with that non-conference going to Southern Utah, going to Iowa State, I mean, you tested this team early.
That was probably the most difficult part, is the new staff and the new, I wouldn't call it a new system, but there was new communication, new ways to do things. And being on the road, it made it more difficult with a young football team. And that's what really made it hard early, I think.
When you look at that new staff, what do you like about the fact that you were able to adapt? I mean, you're moving some guys around, you're changing different things week to week.
It was, and I think the coaches had to adapt and players had to adapt, because it was coaches adapting probably to myself of how to move personnel around to make it fit your season, whether you're moving offense to defense or a guard to a tackle. You have to find ways to get your best players on the field and create the best team you can. So that adaptation was, but the players had to as well. I mean, that's a normal progressive thing you go through, is you ask a player or get with a player, say, hey, we need this position for depth, can you and will you play this? And they take that role on.
I mean, so many playmakers, and we'll talk about some of the seniors that really had outstanding final years to their college season, but it was that next man in mentality. Coach, whatever you want me to do, wherever you want me to be, and week to week it was a different guy, a different star. How important is that? How do you coach that so that they're ready and whenever their number is called to step in and make the play?
Well, looking back on it, that's probably what you're most proud of, is how the next man in, and that was kind of our motto at the end, the next man in had to be better than the one coming out. And that's how well they had to be prepared. And it kind of happened because of all the injuries we had very early that guys stepped in. But you know, again, it takes a player that can adapt. It takes a coach that can make the movement and make the adaptation in the game plan to make it work. But it all comes down to the players. The players are the ones that have to carry the load, and an exceptional group of men. I've told them that it's the best group of men that I've had, and part of that is how they were able to adapt.
That's a big statement right there, what they do on the field, in the locker room. Leadership pretty good from this group?
It was tremendous. It was absolutely tremendous. It was great coming in, great summer. But when you're 2-3, you know, with all the things that were going on, and you hadn't played any home games hardly, I mean, you were really tested early on that character phase of it. And then once we caught rhythm, you really saw what the leadership had done in the hard times, because when we got good, we got really good.
We're just getting started here with Coach Farley. We'll be back to talk about that second place finish in the conference, the top 25 ranking, the playoffs, and some of the great seniors who left it all on the field this year. Back with more Panther Sports Talk right after this.